let's talk about PET lines. PET lines are crucial for our industry, that's for sure, but they also come with their very own set of challenges, don't they? So overcoming these challenges, that is our golden task here, to keep PET competitive and future ready. And in case you ever wonder what the future will look like, you are in the right place at the right time, as with Krones, the future is now. And visions have already turned into reality. And I'm delighted to introduce to you a long-term Krones customer who is already working with the all-new Ingeniq. So let me introduce to you for Niagara Bottling, the Vice President of Core Water, Paul Wilson. It's great to have you here. Your applause.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
And yeah, Shapley Spring is in the house with Operation Director Jeff Corey.
Nice to be here. Thank you.
And of course, we also have the Krones perspective on board with the head of Inside Sales North America Key Accounts, Rico Gerlach. Let me start from that side. And last but of course, absolutely, and not least, the Vice President of Sales, Western USA, BJ Anderson. So I know it's almost impossible to put years of collaboration, cooperation in a nutshell, but let's try. Tell us a bit about your history with Krones.
Yes, so I've been with Niagara 17 years. When I started with Niagara, the first plant I had to operate was as a plant manager in our Dallas location, and it was a two-line vertically integrated plant that had Krones equipment in, fully integrated. So that was my first time with Krones, and it's been innovation ever since with Krones. They're our preferred OEM, and they really help us drive the industry in the US and our strategy around being a low-cost leader.
Love your enthusiasm. Thank you so much. And Jeff, what's your history with Krones? When did you meet?
Yeah, so my history with Krones goes back probably about 20 years. I've been with Shepherd Spring 4 years. And in that time, we've put in 2 turnkey Krones lines. So obviously now we've got the line of the future at the new Harrogate site.
And what is it what you love best about the cooperation?
I think that one of the things that I really enjoy about the collaboration is the willingness to find solutions to problems.
I love that, and I see you nodding, so that's what it's all about, of course. So before we now learn everything about your experience with the all-new Ingeniq, you are the first to work with it, so this is super exciting, of course. But let's take a closer look at the challenges that PET brings with it to the table. So what are the major issues your customers are struggling with? Where does the shoe pinch the most?
One of the most is definitely unplanned downtimes and the line availability. Interruptions made by manual intervention and the lack of visibility to it. That's the number one, I would say. Another one in these times of sustainability and high rising cost, high energy and media consumption. That's another key issue we hear from our customers every time.
Okay, that's a lot. BJ?
I would add a couple things. I think one of the key things also is a lack sometimes of qualified personnel. You know, complex lines require highly trained personnel to operate them. And sometimes they're hard to find in regions, and that can create operational and maintenance bottlenecks. And I'd add another one, and that would be the complexity of order management these days. You know, there's a greater number of SKUs and package types and declarations that have to be seamlessly changed over. So that's a big factor that we have to contend with and counter.
Paul, you'd agree?
Oh, absolutely. Totally agree with the items that have been brought up. But you know, the great news is we have some opportunities to create to control the gaps. So you know, the great thing is the new line of the future. It's an autonomous line, and it's staffed minimally, which means now there's minimal interaction between the operator and the line in terms of doing the changeover and doing splicing changes on the line. So, and there's also an opportunity there for the staffing optimization. So we're able to staff the line minimally and optimize the output. In terms of digital platform, we have a digital connected platform that has state-of-the-art IT architecture, and that enables us to has all of the items around predictive maintenance, 24-hour line observation that Marcus alluded to earlier, data analytics, and then state-of-the-line data integration. And so all of these items combined are helping us turn data into insights and action. And so that really helps us. And then from a TCO and sustainability perspective, that's the third item. You know, we are able to lightweight our bottles further. We're using less media for materials, and then that helps protect the environment, and it also lowers our TCO.
So when you first heard about the concept, what was your first thoughts? You had great hopes directly?
So there was no major surprises really, because we've been talking with Krones about some of these initiatives for several years. But it's about having the availability and resource to work on all these great ideas. You have so many great ideas, but you only have so many resources to work on the great ideas.
Okay, let's see how that worked out for you, Jeff. What are your experiences? Have you already noticed some improvement in the past couple of months?
Absolutely, I've seen a number of improvements across the line. I think one of the key areas where we've seen a big benefit is the visibility of the data on the line and the real-time insights that we're getting. I think having a centralized terminal where all the digital ecosystem is, where the operator can see the line performance, the line observation in real time, I think that's really letting the operator be in tune with the line, and it's really moving them from being reactive to proactive.
Sounds good, doesn't it? Amazing.
Absolutely.
So thanks for sharing. Apart from sustainability and efficiency, what other strategic goals are you pursuing and hoping, of course, Ingeniq will do the job for you?
Yeah, so Niagara's a low-cost leader, and so our goal is to always try and remove waste from our supply chain and manufacturing operations, and still remaining agile for our customers. Krones provides us the platform in order to do that, and by providing us a line that can run, lighter materials and run products with less media, and so and the energy savings. And so our customers Krones is helping us provide value to our customers through that. But the main two items probably I would say is TCO, a lower TCO, and then turning the analytics and the data into those insights so that we can provide action to them in through quicker changeovers and higher uptime and line optimization.
Yeah. You agree, Jeff?
I totally agree, yes. Yeah.
Okay, so would you say that Ingeniq will help you solve almost all the issues you're dealing with?
I think the suite of the products will address all the issues on the line. I think one of the key things for me is in terms of the relationship. So moving the relationship as like a transactional relationship to a partnership and a collaboration. So traditionally the line gets handed over SAT. I think it's quite a powerful statement that what's important to us as a business in terms of metrics is now important to you in terms of efficiency, throughput, case cost, and TCO. So for me, that makes me feel confident that the product is going to enable us to take market share, and focus on our core business rather than technical firefighting.
I think that is an amazing point. You want to focus on your core business. This is what it's about.
Yeah.
And Krones is taking so much weight off your shoulders, obviously. So, BJ, how does it feel to hear this now? Is this what you had in mind when you came up with the vision?
100%. That's tremendous feedback, Jeff. Thank you very much for that. And we look at it like completely fully agreed, and Ingeniq represents a culmination of a 2-decade partnership between these two companies, Niagara Bottling and Krones, and Shepley, of course. During that time, we challenged the limits of what's possible. We've moved the bar forward tremendously, and we're really coming as close as possible now to truly autonomous operations.
So you smile, so it really does sound good, right? To hear this now live from your customers.
Absolutely, it's exciting. I mean, I overtook my role in 2011 taking care of Niagara Bottling, and I still remember back when we were sitting in Bill's office back at Philly Street, still in a small tiny office, and he was telling us about his vision on the Lights Off factory. And look at that, 14 years later, we make a significant step towards that direction with Ingeniq.
Incredible,
100%.
incredible. And you did expect a lot already, and you achieved even more, so that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Is there still aspects or anything that surprises you about the concept of Ingeniq?
No major surprises, because the concepts that have been talked about over the years have been now kind of realized, so we're beginning to see the benefits of those conversations. I would touch on, though, what we don't see are the hidden engineering solutions that Krones have provided behind the curtain that are now really paying real dividends in manufacturing output, and that will only further improve asset availability and get it closer to 100%. So, yeah, no major surprises.
Okay, that's good. What excites you most about Ingenic?
There's quite a few aspects of it that excites me. I'm a manufacturing guy. I want to take a step back and look at the line holistically, and I look at the improvements that have been made in terms of the digitalisation and the automation, which for us at Shepley is a step forward. So the line has pushed our business forward probably 5 or 6 years in terms of the digitalisation, the automation, and the lightweighting that we've been able to do. But if I put myself in an operator's perspective, the removal of the waste materials directly off the line, the replenishment of the raw materials automatically and actually putting them onto the packer and into the labeller frees the operator up to then do value-adding tasks. So what they can look at then is hygiene, optimisation and value-adding things instead of just maintaining the line. So for me, as operations director, I think it's had a big impact on our business and our staff.
Love that. Vijay, Rico, now that you hear this, I mean, of course, you have seen this whole development process of the Ingenic, back then still under the concept name Line of the Future, come to life.
Yep.
But now that it is alive and it is up and running, and how does that feel for you? Is there anything that you say, wow, I didn't expect that, or wow, that surprises me in a particularly positive way?
I think it's just been a tremendous success story, and it's been a very progressive experience. Everything was a building block on top of the previous one, and it put it together in a very nice way. The partnership was there to do it, the technical expertise and competence, and the will was there to do it between the two companies. So it's a tremendous success story.
It sure is. Rico, any surprises on your side still?
No surprises. I mean, being part of that from day one, 3 years ago, when we wrapped up Trinktec and had the first discussion, and ending up here, it's just an adventure. It was a great journey.
A dream came true, obviously,
yeah,
for all of
absolutely.
you. Amazing. So if you still had one wish or advice based on your experience with Ingenic for Krones, for future lines of the future, what would that be?
I think for me, my advice would be to continue the collaboration and partnership through that journey. I think it's really important that as the products mature in terms of digitalisation and the Line of the Future concept matures, I think that input from the customer to shape that journey so the end products fit for purpose is really important.
Awesome. Paul?
Yeah, and from my seat, it's more about, the Line of the Future has provided a vision around hardware, software, and people. With one caveat, a focus on a return on investment related to aging assets. And how can we partner with Krones to maybe cascade that across other assets that we currently have in our system or future assets that Niagara purchases in order to gain the same insights. With regards to the hardware, the hardware is probably evolved fully almost with the Line of the Future. The digital technology is evolving and will only evolve quicker with AI, machine learning, and then with regards to people, people is still the area that we need to partner with Krones and make sure that our people are able to innovate, gain insights, and engage with this technology, because they're going to be the people that are going to be running Ingenic in the future.
Okay, I saw you took notes. Awesome. Is there anything in the making yet that you are able, allowed, and willing to talk about, or is it still top secret, everything?
Well, I would say that Krones is not never content to rest on its laurels, and I think we're looking forward now to taking the Line of Future technology, the Ingenic technology, and applying that into different market segments, into the different container types. So more to come, exciting things ahead.
And what I love about Krones, that you always seem to have your ear to the ground to make sure that you develop exactly what your customers are wishing for. So would you agree that a trade show is a good opportunity to exchange ideas?
Sounds like a great idea.
What a great idea. Exactly.
Okay, then I would say I invite all of you. They are here, you are here. Let's mix, mingle, exchange ideas. Who knows, maybe the next groundbreaking idea will be born right here today. Who knows? Thank you very much for watching. All four of you, thank you so much for this inspiring panel.
Thank you.
Your applause. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.